everyone. Today we'll be going over API3's dAPIs, which are essentially data feeds that are offered via the API3 market. Now, dAPIs offer quantifiably secure data from multiple sources. One of the cool features about the API3 market is the ability to self-fund your own dAPIs. For today's tutorial, we'll be going over one of the dAPIs, particularly the Fantom USD dAPI. When I click on the dAPI, I'll be redirected to the dAPI page. And on the dAPI page, I want to do this tutorial on the Fantom testnet. So I'll go here and change my network over to the Fantom testnet network. Once I do that, a MetaMask notification will pop up and I can switch my network. Now, as you can see, we also need to switch the network over here. So let's go over and switch our network here to Fantom testnet. Great. So, like I said, one of the key features of the API3 marketplace is to self-fund your own data feeds. And one way to do that is through this interface right here. As you can see, this data feed is already funded for 4 days. Let's try and bump this up to a month so we can keep using this data feed or dAPI for at least a month. So let's do that. Let's fund gas, put in 1 month, and click send FTM. And as you can see, with just 0.01 FTM, I can fund this data feed for a month, which is pretty good. Click on confirm. And now, any moment it should confirm. Okay, it's confirmed here, and it's confirmed here as well. So now our dAPI has been funded for a month, and we can use this by reading the value via the proxy contract. Now, reading via the proxy contract is pretty simple. All we need to do is we need to call .read on this proxy, and I can show you that via Remix. So let me pull up Remix. And while we're in Remix, we can essentially create a new contract and let's call it tutorial. And in this contract, what we can do is we can go back to the market. You can go to the resources and click on data, how to use dAPIs. And we can see this one right here, reading a self-funded dAPI. And so there's already an example on how to read. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy paste this over so that we don't need to type everything. And I'm just going to change the name to tutorial. Now, the tutorial contract is pretty simple. What we're doing is we're defining a proxy address, and we are able to set that proxy and point it to the correct dAPI. So in this case, for Fantom USD, this is going to point to this contract right here. So once the proxy address is set, we can call .read on the proxy address to get the corresponding value up along with when the value was updated. So essentially, when I call .read on this, I'm able to get the value, which is 0.5. And this value will be available up to 18 decimal places, along with the timestamp, so that I can validate whether the timestamp is fresh enough. We recommend to at least check if the timestamp has been updated the past 24 hours, because our heartbeat for the self-funded dAPIs is 24 numbers. Yeah, so let's deploy this contract on the testnet. This should be pretty simple. So let's compile it first. compiled, and now let's deploy it. Tutorial, deploy, network, deploy. Okay, it looks like it's deployed. Now let's set the proxy. I'm going to copy this proxy address. Paste it here. Control that. Confirm. And then all I need to go is read data feed. Then that gives me the value, which is 0.5, and the timestamp. If you think why the values have so many numbers, it's because, like I said, this is up to 18 decimal places. So if you count, this will be 17 digits, which means that this is 0.508, which if we go back here, that's the same value. And like this, you should be able to access any of the 100 plus dAPIs on the API3 market for Fantom and Fantom testnet. And not just these chains, but across multiple other chains as well. And all of this is on a self-funded basis. So if you fund any of these data feeds, you should be able to use them. And someone else can also use them if you fund it. So we've already seen people fund a lot of the feeds on the testnets. So if I go over and look at ETH USD, you'll see that on Fantom testnet, this is already funded. So this is already funded for more than a year. So there's already a lot of feeds that you can play around with. And we look forward to what you build with the APIs in the future.